From the headquarters of the Guild of Champions, this is the Becoming Thin podcast, and I'm your host, Chris Terrell. And welcome to another week of your weight loss quest. How did this last week go for you, champion? What new challenges did you encounter? But more importantly, what failure did you go through, and what lesson did you get from that failure? Come on now, don't let a perfectly good failure go by without you getting your lesson. That's your reward for your troubles, after all. Now, if you're new here, I've lost 125 pounds myself after an entire adulthood of chronic yo-yo dieting. Up, down, up again. Before I finally got sick and tired of being fat and out of shape, that I finally decided to do something about it. And I made some permanent, meaningful, and actual changes to my real-life lifestyle, habits, routines, environment, community, and to my systems of belief. Because it's all 6 of those things that created the results of my life, and if I wanted to get new results, I was going to have to go change those same very 6 things. And now I'm here each week to help you make the changes in your life that'll hopefully lead to the results that you would like to have. In my case, I try to help people accomplish what I call the core 4. The core 4 goals of becoming thin, healthy, happy, and in shape. Thin, healthy, happy, and in shape, because we want to have all 4 of them. And they're all 4 separate. They progress at different rates, but they help each other. And we want to make sure we're doing a plan that helps you actually accomplish all of those. Now, this week, we're going to be talking about emotional eating. We're going to talk about the perfect storm that can be created that we want to make sure that we're being mindful of if it is being created in our life. Now, a little bit about emotional eating right now before I get into this. In the guild, my paid community, we're going to be doing emotional eating everything for the next 2 months. So everything in March and April, we are just doing constant emotional eating work. And what I'm really excited about is I'm representing my 10-week Understanding and Overcoming Emotional Eating course. I have not represented this in a few years. I'm updating it and adding some new things to it based off of stuff I've learned from working with people, based on my own research, and of course, even my own life, working through my own emotional eating. But also now, I've had the opportunity to work with people who have lost all their weight and to see how emotional eating still shows up in their life so that we can start working on that stuff earlier in the journey. So if you're in the guild, be sure to be checking your guild calendar so that you can see the upcoming emotional eating course that you'll be able to attend live. Would love to have you be there. We're going to be doing a book club as well, and then I'll be doing emotional eating hot seat coaching in addition to the other regular programming that we do in the guild. Now, to those of you that aren't in the guild, I want to invite you, if you're looking for a free weight loss program to get started, I want to invite you to take my free, totally free, yes, it's free, weight loss course. You can find that at becomingthin.com. That's becomingthin.com. And you can register and sign up for the free course and get started as of today, right away. And it is a daily listening course that you can do something every single day, and I'll take you through it for weeks. The feedback coming in from people has already been very positive. People have been getting good results from it, and I'd love to get that in your hands or ears, I guess you could say. If you enjoy the podcast, you're going to like the free course. It's an audio course that I made. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the emotional eating. So many people find themselves stuck in a cycle of emotional eating, but they don't know it. They call it just getting dinner. They call it having a snack. Now, some people are very aware that they're engaging in emotional eating. And so I think what's important is to recognize that there are 2 types of of hunger that you would be dealing with. The first one is physical hunger. That's your body's biological urge and craving to have some food. Your body's like, hey, I need energy. Hey, I need nutrients. That's a normal, natural function. The other kind of function is hedonic hunger or emotional hunger. That's where your mind is wanting to eat food for reasons that have nothing to do with your body needing energy. Also a normal body function. Now, for some people, you have been using food for a while, and so now you have this paired neural pathway where your brain's like, eating food leads to pleasure. And so your brain is aware of that, and it's wanting to use it to feel good. There's all sorts of reasons why emotional eating could be introduced into a person's life. But the thing is, the physical urge to eat hunger is normal, natural, and you should be feeling it every day. But a lot of people don't, because they eat enough and they don't move enough that their body really doesn't ever get super hungry. But if I think back to myself in my previous life, I actively avoided feeling hungry. I didn't want to feel hungry. I would eat to prevent hunger from showing up because I looked at it as a bad thing. It would be uncomfortable. It would be painful. I didn't want to be hungry. And for me on my journey, I had to realize I was first doing that. And then I had to accept that it is not bad or wrong to get hungry. And in fact, it's a good thing. It's a natural thing to get hungry. And in my early days of my weight loss journey, when I was researching how to thin people stay thin, I discovered that was a common trend. A lot of people waited until they got hungry and then they would eat. Now, I talked to a lot of people that struggle with their weight and asked them about hunger. And a lot of them are like, oh, I don't like doing that. And I'm like, okay, well, why? Well, I'm worried if I start, I won't stop. Oh, okay. And now as I started digging into that more and like, okay, well, why though? Because when I would start digging into it, I would see that no, sometimes they can stop. No one was at black and white. Nobody that I've talked to is like, no, every single time I start eating, I can't stop, because everybody eventually stops. So it's like, okay, so what's the problem? What's the rub here? And what I started seeing was a pattern was emerging, which is when a person is physically hungry, like they have biological, physical urges to eat, and they have the emotional urge to eat at the same time. When those both are present, oh my gosh, it is a perfect storm for overeating. Because think about it for a moment. When you get really hungry, like physically hungry, don't you like your willingness to eat food goes way up. Even the amount of food you're willing, like what specific variety of foods, that goes way up. And then when you start eating, you kind of want to eat almost ravenously, like if you're too hungry. And so imagine if you have that and you're emotionally in your brain wanting to eat a bunch of food. Pairing those two together creates a super strong urge. And let's look at a pattern that I started seeing that a lot of people would engage in. A person would not eat a ton during the day, thinking like, oh no, I'm going to do good. I'm going to not eat a lot right now. And then they show up to the evening and they're now pretty physically hungry. And near the end of the day, their executive function's been depleted. They've been using their mind all day long. They've been sitting in whatever stressor they're dealing with, or maybe they're coming home to the stress at home, right? Whatever it is. And now they have this urge to emotionally eat, and they're also very hungry. And now they have control over having super tasty food, and they might even have food all around them in their environment, in their home. This is really hard not to overeat this way. Really, really hard not to overeat. And what a lot of folks I observed as I've been doing my emotional eating research over the last several years, what I've noticed a lot of people will do is they then engage in some sort of planning or some sort of gimmicky diet trick so that they can still emotionally eat and lose weight. But if you've been a listener to the podcast for any length of time, you know that I'm here to help you address two problems. But in case you're a new listener, let's revisit them. Problem number one, the one that most people are here to work on, is I want to lose the excess body fat off my body. I want to get the excess body fat off of me. I know you say like, I want to lose weight, but we need to be specific because you don't want to lose muscles, right? You want to hang on to that. You're going to lose some, but we want to minimize that. The real goal is to lose body fat. Okay. That's part one. Excess body fat is on my body and I want to get it off. But we have problem number two, which is you have a weight gaining problem. Why is the body fat there in the first place? Why is all this excess body fat there? And a lot of folks, what I started discovering, were blaming foods. It's because I'm eating this food. It's because I'm eating that food. Or it's because I can't stop once I'm eating. It's like, okay, yeah. But you gain weight even if you eat healthy foods. You can gain weight eating anything. There is no food that will prevent weight gain. You can gain weight on anything. But you got to eat a sufficient volume, right? It's always about the volume. I was like, okay, so I'm looking into that. So it's like, what is creating the desire to eat more than the body needs? Well, at the heart of this sits emotional eating for reasons that have nothing to do with biological, physical hunger. And so it's important to get us to realize this and go, okay, something is creating this urge to eat when I don't want to physically eat. I just want to mentally eat. Now, a lot of people, especially with the GLP-1 these days, are getting into using the term food noise, which is basically this is preoccupation with food and I want to eat. And then we look at it as like, oh, the food noise is a problem. It's like, no, but the food noise is there for a reason. It's there for a reason. Yeah, it's because my genetics. No, that's not it. That's not it. A lot of people have thought that. And it's like, that's not it. And when I started working with folks and digging into this, we started seeing that almost always we could pretty quickly, within 30 minutes to an hour, find the real cause that was driving the urge to emotionally eat. And we could also see that the person was not doing anything about it. They weren't working it. They weren't dealing with it. And so what I now do when I work with people is if we're wanting to overcome emotional eating, we need to find the underlying cause behind that and turn and address it. Turn and address the underlying cause of emotional eating. Let's say a person is super stressed about their work, super stressed about their job. And they're like, oh, I got to have this food so I can get through this afternoon because I got to do all these reports and this is just going to really suck. And so what does the person do? They end up giving themselves a little snacky snack in the afternoon, right? And they're saying like, oh, I'm hungry. I need this. It's like, yeah, but are you? Well, maybe they are because they barely ate a lunch. They barely ate any sort of lunch. And so now they're physically hungry and they're also trying to do this really stressful work task and they're using the food to help them get through it. It's like, well, no, we need to address this. We need to address how you're managing the stress in this situation because if you keep using the food, you're creating a secondary problem. But here's another pattern that I started noticing people were doing. People were using calorie counting to schedule their emotional eating. A person's like, no, Chris, the way I handle my emotional eating is by emotional eating. It's like, no, that's how you stay stuck in the cycle forever. We have to get you to stop emotional eating entirely. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean you're only going to eat when you're hungry, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you're going to stop using food as a drug to manage your feelings. That's what we got to get you to stop doing. And it's hard. And so what a lot of people are doing is they're so focused on weight loss, they're not addressing the weight gaining problem. And because they're not addressing the weight gaining problem, they don't see any reason they need to make emotional eating go away because you can emotionally eat and lose weight. You can emotionally eat the entire time you're losing weight. You could do things like intermittent fasting so you can emotionally eat in the evening. You could do things like calorie cycling where you're tracking your calories but shuffling calories around to where you want to emotionally eat. People might do something like keto where it's kind of hard to emotionally eat on like fat and protein. It's pretty satiating stuff. And so your body starts fighting back. And so it's like, okay, they're allowing themselves to emotionally eat and they're keeping themselves in a calorie deficit and then they stop losing weight. And like, I don't understand, I'm gaining my weight back. And they're blaming all the foods or saying something's wrong with them. It's like, no. You never address your emotional eating along the way because emotional eating contributes to your weight gaining problem, not weight loss. You can lose weight and emotionally eat, and you can use calorie tracking to ensure that you're able to do it. You can lose weight and emotionally eat and do a tricksy diet like intermittent fasting or, oh, I'm only going to eat healthy foods, right? And you kind of strong arm yourself into only eating certain kinds of ultra satiating foods, but you still have never addressed the underlying reasons behind why you want to emotionally eat in the first place. And there's all sorts of reasons why a person doesn't do that. And this is where my emotional eating course that I'm getting into is going to teach about, is how to overcome, how to understand what's happening, how to identify the underlying sources behind the emotional eating so that you can then turn and address it and deal with it and face it. Because if we eliminate the cause, we can eliminate the effect. So the effect is the urge to emotionally eat. If we can get to the root cause of that and deal with it, the urge to emotionally eat will go away. Because for most people, the urge to emotionally eat is not biological. It is in fact psychological. Something is going on within a person's mind and it is attached to their lifestyle. As I say in the beginning of every podcast, you're a byproduct of your lifestyle, habits, routines, environment, community, and belief systems. All 6 of these things contribute to how you live your life. And some of these things are compelling you to emotionally eat. And you're going to have to turn and deal with those things. That means some of you, your romantic relationship is a reason why you're emotionally eating. You're going to need to deal with that. For some of you, it's your job. You're going to have to deal with that. For some of you, it's some unresolved trauma. You're going to need to deal with that. For some of you, it's the way you're handling your finances. You're going to need to deal with it. For some of you, it's all of that. For some of you, it's your social life. You feel very lonely all the time. For some of you, you're going through some health thing with a family member. Maybe you have a health condition yourself. Whatever it is something happening. And in my program, I'll explain why the connection exists and why emotional eating becomes something you really want to do specifically. Because the thing is, you're not broken. The fact that you want to emotionally eat is not a sign you're broken. Not at all. It is, in fact, a very normal, natural response for the body if the mind and body are put under certain circumstances and situations. And many of us were inadvertently, repeatedly putting ourselves in those circumstances and situations that was compelling us to want to emotionally eat. So just something for you to ponder on and think about. So as you're going through your days this week, I want you to ask yourself, are you putting yourself in a situation where you are both wanting to physically eat because you are physically, biologically hungry and you're very emotionally hungry? And you're going to see that there's a pattern there. If that's happening, you're going to see that you tend to overeat when that shows up. Now, if you're looking for some help, again, I want you to encourage you to go take my free weight loss course. You can do that at becomingthin.com. If you're interested in my paid programs, you can go to imnotquitting.com. You can learn more about the Guild. You can join us there. I'd love to have you come be a member of the Guild. On March 4th, we kick off our first week of the emotional eating program. Again, it's 10 weeks that we're going to be running it. If you're catching this podcast a little late and it's after March 4th, don't worry. We have replays, so you can watch the replays and get caught up and stay with us live each week. Would love to have you come be a part of that. It's a great program. It's live in on Zoom. And if you can't attend on Zoom, as I said, we have replays. Also, if you've enjoyed the podcast, please consider giving it a rating and a review. Would love to get that rating and review, but I want a chance to earn it. So give me a few listens, come check out a few episodes, and hopefully that helps. All right, we're going to go and wrap up here because my voice is tired because I'm feeling a little sick and I do not have 45 minutes of talking in me right now. But I hope you have a great rest of your week on your weight loss quest and really, really pay attention to what I was talking about this week. Are you allowing yourself to get physically hungry and emotionally hungry at the same time? That perfect storm is a recipe for disaster with emotional eating. So be on the lookout for it. Remember, your life is the best teacher out there, your actual life. I'm just giving you tips. I'm just pointing you in the direction, but ultimately it's you and your life that's going to teach you all the skills that you need to know to master your weight. If you can get your emotional eating urges under control, weight loss is going to become so much easier. But more importantly, once you lose the weight, you're going to be able to keep it off. Have a great week, champion, and I'll talk to you next week on the Becoming Thin podcast.